Hello, hello, hello. All right. Okay, this one working? Yep. Yes. All right. Well, working frogs. All right. Okay. Got some cool glasses we can wear. That will not help me with soldering. Actually, I won't be doing any soldering. I did pull out a musical instrument today. I was going to get it hooked up into my stream so I can do some music, but apparently the audio amplifier is defective in this unit. It needs to be fixed. So I think I'm going to have a teardown stream at some point. Okay. Let's get chat up on the screen. By screen, I mean my phone. I can put that right here in front of me. I can look at it every now and then. All right. Yeah, this is a Rode & Schwartz wireless mic. The actual mic on the other setup that I play games with is something's wrong with it. It doesn't have very good audio. So I think what I'm going to do is someday invest in getting a real microphone. So, all right. So what we're going to do is we're going to take these little guys here. Let's see if I can zoom in. So they look like those are little parts. So they go on a board this, and they're all lined up all along here. This one's already done. I did this one. So there's all of them. And this one was done with SMD. So I stenciled this, placed them all, and then put them in a toaster oven. 5 minutes. The only part I'm concerned about is if I get this chip too hot right here. As you can see, my finger is like 5 times bigger than one of these little tiny parts. So those are the parts. This is the solder paste. Not using this solder paste. This is a tube of solder paste I found in my drawer. I don't know if it's any good. I'm going to be using this. So this one here was using low melt solder paste, which is, I don't know what temp it's on. But this stuff is ChipQuick. This is leaded solder. It's a higher temp. So I'm not sure how well this is going to work, but we're going to find out. So let me switch over to a different view here. So this is a stencil. Stencil has a bunch of holes in it. See them on there. Then you have to kind of make a jig to hold your circuit board in place. Kind of made one here. Kind of holding it in place. It moves around a little bit. But when I lay this down, basically, you need to make sure that everything lines up good. I have something that's right here that I tried cleaning out two or three times. So I need to make sure it only appears when I put this thing down. So it's a piece of solder from the last run. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a piece of cloth. Actually, we'll drop 100% isopropyl alcohol on here. I'm just going to take and just run over the top of this with the board underneath. Give it a good cleaning. Look, it's got a little gray on here. Then we're just going to look, make sure that all plating looks good. Like this one here, the board is down too far. So what I'm going to do is try to just pull on this. It doesn't have to be perfect, but it does need to be kind of in there. So now we're going to take this, like this, and then, ooh, squeeze a little bit right there, a little bit there, that. All right, so compared to the other stuff I had, this was way easier to get out of the tube. So now we got it on there. We need to find the little card I had laying out, but I placed now. My squeegee card. My squeegee card. All right. Hotel room keys make great squeegee cards. So let me see if I can. I like the camera length. You're blind. All right. So I squeegee that all over the place. Yeah, credit cards work too. I'm not going to use the credit card because you'll see the credit card number. So I'm going to just hold it down. I'm just going to basically do this. And these are little tiny balls. So the most important thing is you make sure the stencil is flat to the board. Now that's done. You don't really need to touch it over there. And get it over here and do this one. Here. All right. Yeah, so 2 credit cards. All right. So it's just you just don't want to push the solder paste under the stencil. I just want to fill the holes. And then you're just going to inspect to see if there's any see any gold through the thing. This is gold plated board, so. And then there's a little bit on here. Not going to worry about it. Now you carefully lift the stencil up. That. And you remove your board. And focus in here. Little piles of solder on all the pads. Take this, set it aside. And then try to get as much of this paste off of this board as you can. For the next one, I only have one left. And then I'll be done with the stencil, and then just wipe all this stuff off. It does have flux in it. It will harden. Take a little piece of tape. This gets refrigerated. You refrigerate this. Put a piece of tape on there, just so it doesn't dry out. Done with this. I'm going to put this here. Oh yeah, I will be placing every component by hand. You will be watching me do it. This will be like watching paint dry. So, my condolences, exactly. All right. The good thing is, it's only 3 types of components. It's 2 resistors and a capacitor. So, yeah. So we have 249 ohm resistors. We have 90k ohm resistors. And then we have some 8.2 PF capacitors. Good thing is one whole row and one whole row is one value. And it's just basically, so all the even numbers are 90s, so the whole top row here, this whole top row will get 90s, the bottom row will get 250s, and I have the 250s right here. So what I'll basically do is I'll just sit this right here, and I grab a part with this, like this, tweezers, and then I go down here, and I verify that the 250s are going on the odd numbers, and the odd numbers are on the bottom. So I just put this part, and I just push it into the solder paste. And then I grab another part. And then I go to the next one. And then you be that guy in chat like, you're not putting them in the same orientation? Yeah, nope, sure ain't. So the last board I did, yep, I literally throw it in the oven. It's not the oven I cook food in. I have a beat up toaster oven I found on the side of the road. And I put this in it. First I fight with it to get it to turn on. I think it has a broken switch. I am gonna build a little, they make a controller that you can build that will control it to turn it on and off. So the last one I did this on, I placed all these parts first. This is the second time I'm using the toaster oven method. The first time I did this and I used hot air. Came out fine. It worked. But I will tell you this. it was a bitch keeping the parts on the board. That hot air hit the part, and it liked to go places. All right, that part number is 90 on it. Did I freaking mislabel these? Yeah, I know. I also, I think I got the wrong. I think I labeled my parts bins wrong. Like, oh, I'm gonna label these this time. Yeah, chat. Yep. Yeah, I got these all wrong. Yeah. These are not the 240s. I got to move these all to the other side. These are the 90s. That part number looks wrong. The pizza oven, yeah, they basically that's what they do. That's how they do these with commercial. They basically converted those conveyor. Yeah, you could just. But the trick is there's a special temperature. You're supposed to bring the board up to a soaking temperature, and it's supposed to soak for X number of minutes. And then after it soaks, then you ramp up the temperature to the melting point of the solder for less, like for a minute or two, and then you ramp down quickly. So what I do is I basically bring the toaster oven up to like put the board in the toaster oven, bring the temperature to like 300 degrees Fahrenheit. I let it sit there for a couple of minutes to heat the board up, and then I just spin it all the way up to 450, and I just watch the board until all the little parts start dancing around. And then I let it sit there for a minute after I see all the solder to melt. And then I pull the board out and let it cool on the counter. So, like I said, the first time I did this, I didn't get the stencil wasn't laying flat. The solder was kind of gooey and made a mess. The second time I did it, I stenciled it and let it sit for a couple hours, which made the solder paste kind of dry up. But the parts like really stuck to the board when I put them in. So this is very similar to the first one, but I'm using different solder paste. So I've switched solder paste on this. This is a this is lead based. My first one was non-lead based, low melt. My first three. The first one I did by hand with a soldering iron. That took about 3 hours to do over a course of a couple of days. The second one I did hot air like this. I got to be careful because I have a tendency to touch this one area over here in the corner. You got to remember there's solder paste there. Hello, Ray. How are you doing? I have a musical instrument. I was going to play it on stream, but then it broke, so I got to fix it. I got a musical instrument, see? It's a Yamaha. The soldering is doing great. We're stenciling it, so there's little piles of solder on here. And then I'm putting these little tiny parts, like really small. I'm hand placing them. It is a Yamaha tone generator MU5. That is the exact model number. I do have the polysynth still, and I still have a keyboard. But I figured this little MU5 would be kind of cool. I could hook it up, but apparently the audio output is very low on it. So it's going to be a tear it apart and fix it on stream project, because it is not very loud at all. I plugged it into the mixer, and the mixer is like, yeah, I see you pushing buttons, but it's not very loud. It's like super quiet. So I have to fix my musical instrument, which no big deal. I've fixed many musical instruments for other local streamers, keyboards and such. Yeah, it's got no audio. The audio is very quiet. So I'm placing all the even parts. Even parts are 90K. So I gotta put the even parts up here. Not really a big fan of this paste. I see the little balls. I don't think it's high in flux. Not very sticky. Okay, so those are those ones. And we're going to switch over to the capacitors now. We're going to do all the capacitors. This is ChipQuick NC 191 AX15. Not a big fan of it at the moment. It's got real. I do like the fact that it came out of the ball really. It came out of the syringe really easy. This is the stuff that I used the other day. ChipQuick or MG Chemicals 4902P 15 gram. Now, yeah, that's the stuff. No, no. This is they make solder paste too. No, ChipQuick makes solder paste as well. That's actual full-on solder paste for doing exactly this. It's got really small balls. I mean, these balls are. I can actually see them, but yeah, I didn't think ChipQuick made solder paste either. But I was on the EEV blog, and they're like, "Oh, for beginners, you should try use this stuff." I like the fact it came out of the tube really easy, but I'm not liking the part cohesion on the board. This stuff I used, this low melt paste, which is about 50 degrees lower in Celsius. I really like this. I don't know if this tube's any good anymore, because I didn't know you're actually supposed to keep this stuff refrigerated. So the question is this stuff any good? Like, what's the shelf life if it kept at room temperature? All my other solder paste is all kept in the refrigerator. I have a dedicated refrigeration unit that doesn't have food in it. This just does not have. It's just like. Just doesn't feel like there's any flux. The flux content is just not that great. I think MG Chemicals has maybe a higher flux content because the parts just stick to the board, and they're all no clean. And honestly, I still got to do regular through hole soldering, so I got to clean the board anyways. You really want no clean when you're doing like circuit board, like chip installations, like a balling, kind of like under the chip. Yep, cooking with solder paste. This is leaded solder paste, which is known to cause cancer in all 50 states. So I was originally doing, well, the first one I did, I was dumping the parts on the board and then picking them up on the board and moving them over. I think I streamed that a little bit, and I would just do a little bit at a time by hand. And then I did that for the second one. And for the last one, I'm like, I have a ton of these dishes, and they're a nice white contrast. And I just put the parts in them, and they're low profile. They work great. I'm like, I got like 40 of these things. These are the Ryan Steakhouse ice cream dishes. I bought them at an auction, like for $5. Like literally like 50 or 60 of them. I gave a bunch of them away, and they make great parts trays. And when it gets to the point I can't see, like the resistors, when I need to flip the resistors over, they just don't. I'm really concerned that these parts are going to fall off when I take this thing to the kitchen and put it in the toaster oven. They're not. They're just like setting. Not just. It's like not very tacky. I'm doing one with the ChipQuick, and then I'm gonna do the other one with. I have some MG Chemicals leaded solder, 4860p. I'm gonna do the last one with that. I still can't fathom doing this with a board that has a ton of different values. I'd have to have a tray for every resistor. And I'd have to hunt and pack where all these parts go. Something like that. And this isn't a big deal if it's like a small yield board and you're using the same resistor values and capacitor values throughout the board, but If this was a tightly dense board with a ton of different values, I'd definitely just have PCB house populate all the SMD parts, all the resistors and chips, and then I would just finish off the through hole stuff. Because they actually charge an exorbitant amount for through hole, because through hole is not easy to do by machine. Back when they did wave soldering, basically someone would stuff the board full of parts, and then it would go through a wave soldering machine, which basically the bottom of the board would just go through a river of salt saw door. Okay, those are done. These are done. Now I'm going to go to the last resistor value. They're not 90K. These are the 249s. And they need to go these parts are not sticking. So ChipQuick is on my no bueno list. Doesn't have any. It's very dry, and it felt like it was dry when it came out of the tube. Ad break. Thing is, a machine could do this in like a matter of seconds. There's a little suction cup. Goes down and grabs the part, sucks it off the strip. I think that's how some people do it. They have a little station they set up that holds all the parts. And they just grab the parts off the tape with the suction cup. And you can buy pick and place, homemade pick and place machines. But then again, you got to train it to do the pick and placing. Which is fine and dandy if you're doing like 50 boards. You just load the board, hit the button, does a board, go to the next one. Tell where all the parts are at. Some people do this under a microscope, which is not even staying on there. Yeah. 249s are the odds. Yeah, I'm not liking the solder paste, man. It's not tacky at all. It has a zero tack. Just like a dry flake. Almost like I wanted to put down a layer of flux first. All right, now we got half the board done, so now we only have this half to do. These are the 249s. The 249s are odds. And the good thing is this. I'm using a magnifying glass here, guy right here. So when I'm breathing into it, and not breathing on the board. The parts just like move around. Now, could be the last time I did this, I liked it because I let it sit for a couple hours. Maybe it hardened up a little bit. Only that I can think of. Yeah, 3D printer is agile enough to have a little suction cup pickup. I do like the little solder ball. You can see the little solder. Now this solder paste is designed for smaller parts, like really small parts. So the only thing I can think of is just it's not designed for this size part. It's maybe designed for a smaller part, but I was talking to someone like, "Yeah, you should use a convection oven." And I was looking online about how to convert toaster ovens, and like, do not use a convection oven. Your parts will fly off of the board. All right, so I need one, two, three more parts. Now, all of these ones are flipped upside down, but if you just do that, a bunch of them flip over. Which makes this so much easier. Trying to flip them over with your tweezers is not very easy. Hair, mustache trimmings. Okay, so the 249s are done. That should be enough resistors for the last one. Capacitors. Now I did order extra capacitors, parts. There was a total of 550 parts ordered for each part number. Board only uses 101. So that left me needing 505. Bought 450. 550. But the good thing is they only cost like they're so cheap. Like they're less than a penny each. Like 10 of them equals a penny. all the capacitors, resistors, I think it cost me like $5 for all of them. I think $7.50 is how much they cost me for like 1,600 parts. They are so much cheaper than a regular size resistor. Now, the thing is there is adapters you can buy for the HP Logic Analyzer that has this resistor network already built into it, which I probably would have just redesigned this to use connection for those adapters, and then you wouldn't need to do all this resistor networks. These ones have no polarity, and it doesn't matter if they're upside down or not. You're going to run errands before you go home. You do errands while you're at work? Or are you going to do errands on your way home? Either way, have a safe drive. Still be on when you get home. Yes, ice cream. Very important. This is the only important thing on that list. Have a safe drive. Okay, done. Now we do the 90s. Whew. Fun. Alright. I just realized I had two mics turned on. Type a 1 in chat if you still hear me. Okay. Thank you, Ray. Yeah, I had my overhead microphone on the one camera turned on. I'm not sure if it was making over the stream or not, but off. My goal is to take this camera and then have this camera. These two cameras would be visible at the same time, but there's not a really way to do that. There's no picture in picture. No. Fade to black. No idea what that button does. No idea. ATM Mini. High drag, no drag. Typing anything in chat would indicate that you can. How are the kitty cats? Have they been fed? Have you given them treats? Have you pet them? Drag isn't here. Neither is Hammy. Not mentally, at least. Home stretch, chat. Not sure how long this took. If anybody was keeping time. I don't think it was that very long. Okay. Next two parts. With this is what all the parts, all these chips come in on. A little strip of paper. Now, I say the hardest part is putting chips. You want to make sure you put them where they need to be. Not squish the parts around too much. All right, so I'll be right back. I'm going to go try to turn the oven on and heat this up. So I'm going to pick this up. I'm going to carry it to the other kitchen. I will be back in about 10 minutes. Enjoy the nothingness. Chat company, Drag.
Oh shit, there goes the channel. The real Septane were just rated with 50 odd ones.
Alright, I'm coming back, chat. Up the more! What are you doing? What are you doing to me? What's going on, man? Hello, Raiders. Welcome in, Raiders. I was just stepping away so I can go solder, heat this board up. Got done placing all those parts on here. 310 little parts on this board. I was stepping away to heat them up. Probably turn the other microphone on. Hey, now you can hear me. Oh, something more. Welcome in, Raiders. Yeah, I was just stepping out to go heat something up in a toaster oven for about 10 minutes. It's gonna take I was making a little circuit board here. There's a ton of little tiny parts on here. And yeah, so I had to solder them all up. So welcome in, Raiders. How was Septimore stream? I will be playing some PUBG later, probably. Y'all want to hang out and watch me continue melting things? I will be right back. I'm gonna do this. Yeah, I just gotta figure out what to do, Dave. I don't want to leave chat hanging, but I want to get this done. So let me go do this, and I'll be right back. Sorry, guys. I don't want you to hang. Yeah, I'm gonna go heat this up in the toaster oven. I'll be back. Don't leave. Don't leave, chat. Don't leave. I see you. All right. So y'all gonna watch this sketchy ass shit right here. Ugh. This is gonna be great. All right, here's my here's my patented reflow oven. Absolutely nothing sketchy about this bad boy. All right, the light is on. All right, so we're gonna take this little toasty board here. All right, slowly heating out. Is there a broil? Yes, there is a broil function. So we're gonna bring up the temperature. Not quite the melting point. It's 350 degrees. So it's just heat it up. We're gonna do that for 2 minutes. All right, so we're gonna let this heat up for 2 minutes. It's not gonna be hot enough to melt the solder. And then we're gonna rake it up to 450. And then we're just gonna watch the parts dance. So it's solder paste. So the board was stenciled with solder paste, and then I placed all 310 parts on there by hand. Don't worry, I don't eat out of this toaster oven. This toaster oven was found on the side of the road. I'm like, I'm gonna make this into a reflow unit. I haven't got around to replacing the electronics because I didn't know if the heater elements worked. So this switch up here, the function switch, is actually broken, but I have managed to get it to work by jiggling it. So I can see that the solder has not melted yet, which is fine, because we're just heating the board up. And this is not low temp solder. This is high temp solder. So this might be a complete futile attempt here. All right, now we're gonna ramp it up. It's not melting. So this is a different solder paste than I used on my last one. I used low melt last time, which was like 350 degrees. This is supposed to be 420. This doesn't seem to be melting for shit. It's still gray. Not a fan of this solder paste. Oh, oh, oh. They're melting. They're going. All right. It's at temp. We're going to run it for 1 minute. It's slowly spreading. All right. Just like an easy bake oven. Now we're going to turn this guy off. See, it doesn't turn off. We'll just unplug it. Now we'll open the door. Let that heat roll out. Yeah, if the float tripped your AC, that's you got a drainage problem. All right, we're just gonna let that sit for a couple seconds. We're gonna use a non-cooking device to remove the thing from the thing here. So this board is still super hot. And hot to the touch. And if I dropped it, all these little parts will fall off. All right, let's get the toaster oven / rework station out of the way. So hopefully y'all can see that. Of course, it doesn't focus in real well. Basically, all those little parts are now soldered to the board, and then we'll go look at it under the magnifying glass, and we'll just make sure that they all are set good. We just gotta wait for the board to cool down to the point. So I screwed up. I missed a couple of parts right here. Sorry, the camera's blurry. I did forget to place 2 parts right here, so I'll have to do those by hand. So hello, Stemperoo. All right, we got tons of chat in here. Let's see here. Should turn off when the door is open. Yeah, there's no door sensor on that piece of crap. Must have a switch to the door. Not freezing up. Washing the coil the other day, rinsing out some goop. Fill the secondary drain, which only has a float in it. Oh yeah, that's not right. That should be yeah, no, that should be a drain. That should be draining somewhere. So yeah. So I have a special cleaner for cleaning out thing. Hello, Stemperoo. Alright, so let's look at my work here. Cut this light off. So get the focus here. So there is the soldering after it came out of the toaster oven. Got some mustache hairs on here. That have permanently been affixed to the board. I got them off. And then the little chip. Good. And then over here, those look good. And over here, see where I missed 2 parts. Failed, chat. I failed. All right, so overall, despite my dislike for that solder paste, like, stuff wasn't very tacky. Yeah, there is solder paste. There's paste on here. Other than that, everything looks good. Everything got a nice solid bead of solder on it. So these ones here have a little bit less solders because those are the ones that we put in the wrong spot. And you can tell because these ones here have more solder than these ones down here. So some of the balls transferred from the bottom to the top. But overall, compared to this one, I think this one still looks better. This is with the low melt.
Omega Total just dead. Balls.
Little balls. Yes, little tiny balls. All right, we need to fix the screw up here in the corner. Turn my soldering iron on. And the ones I missed were the odds. The odds are the 250s, and the 250s are the ones in the 90 tray. Because Hammy can't label for crap. So we're going to fix that. That's now the 90 tray. These now are the 250s. So we're missing odds. The odds are 250s. I need two 250s. So this is how we're going to do this by hand. Take a soldering iron. We'll heat it up. We already have the solder on the board. It's already here. So we're going to take it apart. Lift the part up. And
Hey underscore he's underscore David just said. Warning. Battery failure.
battery failure. No battery failure. No battery failure. There. Manually solder that guy down. Now we're going to go over here. There. Now we can take the heat gun and we'll just heat it up with some hot air. So we'll say with the being leaded solder, it does seem to melt quicker. The soldering iron. Flux on there. Hey David, it's gonna say your name. Say my name, say my name. Alright. Who wants to see who wants me to do another board or who wants to do PUBG? What do we want, chat? PUBG or soldering? Or neither? Rate someone else. Arts and crafts. Alright. Temperu said arts and crafts. So I think we'll do the last board and I can call this project done. So there's the re-adding those. Alright, so we have one more board, and then I'll be done with these. So here is what the board looks like with no parts on it. For those that weren't here earlier, so we have this thing called the stencil, and we're going to switch solder paste this time. We're not going to use the ChipQuick. We're going to use this other solder paste, this MG Chemicals 4860. Yeah, so this is going to take 1 hour, and then we can do PUBG. This way y'all can hang out, you can talk, you can chat, talk about the latest, talk about something we're stream and how awesome he was, talk about what we don't like about PUBG, or want to talk about politics, you can go ahead and talk about politics. I don't really care. So this is no clean solder paste. Probably upside down in reverse. This is 4860p. Danger, danger, Will Robinson. Contains lead, will kill you. Got it. Got it. Alright, so what we're going to do is take the board, wipe. Gonna clean it off. Clean. No oils on it. This is our stencil board. I'm gonna give this a quick wipe. Put our board in here. that lays in here flat. And our stencil lays down on top of it like so. It lines up with all the little pads. Make sure all the pads are lined up. Everything looks good. All the little holes are clear. And take this here solder paste. Put our squeegee in here. Do not inject this. All right. Solder paste. Then you lick it clean. Not a suggested good idea. Probably not do that. Chat, do not lick it clean. Did I throw the bag away? No, chat. No. Keep it out of reach of actual hamsters. Good idea. All right, so that's that paste. We're going to put this paste. This paste was weird because this one, you put the syringe in it and you basically can't take the syringe out. So put it in the bag. It had a suction cup and it kind of just stuck together. So those will go back in the refrigerator. All right, yes, this is lead. Here was the pad I was looking for earlier, which magically reappeared. So we're gonna hold the board down, stencil down, and we're just gonna fill in the holes. Just like that. I wish I could zoom in. This one, I think you can see. Like that. Exactly. That's the word I was looking for. Go, and then we have down here. All right. Lick it clean, right? And we carefully lift this up. Pull the board out. And Just the perfect amount of solder paste on all the little pads where they need to be. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to wipe this off. Because I'm done with it. Never will need it again. This has a really strong odor to it. Probably not healthy. Smells like turpentine or something. Oh. But doesn't really matter. Don't ever need it again. Kind of don't. Never will need it again. I am not making any more of these. So yes, there's what's called flux in it. So we have 330 parts we need to lay down. I'm sorry about the horrible lighting. I don't know why it does that. It works fine. So I think what it is this has LEDs that strobe. And I think what is happening is the strobing effect. It's not 60 hertz. So I don't know what, it's not like not the greatest. So I'm going to try to focus on where I'm doing the work back here. So, all right, I corrected the resistor values. So even numbers are 90. The odd numbers are towards me, and they're 250s. And these are 250s. These are the little parts. They are small. I wish I could give you it. Here's a 9-volt battery. And it fits in the letter D. Basically, yep. So this is a 249 ohm resistor. We don't want to know what that fits in the D. All right, odd number. Okay. This solder paste is a little bit more pasty. More of a liquid. So the other one was a lot drier. This one seems to be a lot more fluid. In Peru, I did talk to. I asked my Leica the other day on stream if she would be up for another spork night. Rada was in chat. If they would be interested in another night of spork knifing, she said she would be happy to do another night of spork knifing. And Rada said she would potentially interested as well. I don't know when it will be because I'm waiting for my dad's still in the inpatient care. He gets out next week, and then we have to figure out family trips to go visit him at the home and make sure everything's okay and take time to take turns taking care of him as needed by the family members. Until he tells us to get the hell out. So it might be like a Friday thing. Or something. We'll figure it out. Zev, who was playing with PUBG, she was interested in also playing Fortnite as well. So I did not think she played Fortnite. I'm like, well, why didn't you play the other night? Like, I didn't see you online. Okay, I'm getting high off this crap. I don't like the odor. This smells like, just has a really weird smell to it. It's hard to, it's hard to describe. It has some kind of odor to it. Now, so when we get to the point where we can't, they're all upside down, I just hit the tray and they flip themselves over. Yeah, I wouldn't mind playing some of the Lego, but I don't have anyone to play the Lego with. I played it by myself for a little bit, and I'm like, yeah. Maybe we can play a Lego night together. I'll stream some night in Twitch Hangout Zone or something. So the issue is you don't want a lot of airflow going through here. It just smells like Play-Doh. It's not giving me a headache. It's like really strong Play-Doh. True, that might work too. I will tell you what, though. When I did this the other day at 1 o'clock in the morning, my eyeballs was not having a good time doing this. And I tell you what, not hard this time. My eyes are not having any issues. I should be using up pretty much all of these resistors. Be like 40 left. It's kind of subsiding now. It was just when I first put it in. So the thing is this tube I was using was, I don't know what the age of it was. What's the date on? So the tube I'm using now has a date of they're dated. I think the ChipQuick was actually older. Date of manufacture 6/21 of 24. No, they're about the same date. They both had the same respiratory alerts on them. All right. So all those are down. These are the odds, right? Odds go up here. Make sure I put them all in this time. Or I could just go wear a respirator. Okay. Now we will do the keys caps here. Alright, I have one of those fans. Those things suck. I have a Hacko fan. Not a big fan of it. I need one of those ones. Also, have you seen my workbench? There's not a lot of room here. That's what I really need, is sell some of these arcade games.
Omega Total just said, it's not a fan.
Oh, it's not a fan? What was it? One of those vacuum things? Fume extractor things? No, the resistors are not oriented the same way. They're all up. They're all facing the right way. They're all facing up.
Omega Total just said, Hacko's lock line kit is a flexible segmented hose allowing the hood to be placed close to the work.
Yeah, that's what they have. That's what Rossman Repair Group has. One of those corrugated flexible tube things. It has a small thing on it. I mean, I could build one. I mean, it's on my laser. I got one on my laser cutter. Big, huge HEPA filter. Just curious to see what kind of how this is gonna. Let me put this in the toaster oven. How much fumes it's gonna put off. So I will say that ChipQuick, despite being so dry, taking a little bit longer to heat up.
Just said, it's ball and socket style self-supporting plastic interlocking, not flexible metal pipe.
Yeah.
Also set it up to exhaust outside.
Yeah, I have. Yeah, I have. That's what we use on the we used it for the water, on the water and air on our shop or on our CNC at the makerspace. Yeah, it's ball and socket plastic tubing. Stuff is great. Yeah, not that corrugated crap. No, the slinky stuff. No, that stuff's horrible. So the low melt stuff I used had no odor. Was liquidy like this.
Omega Total just said, Yay, but these would not be for forced air like on a CNC. It's larger diameter.
Yes.
Like 2.5 or 3 inch for vacuum.
Yes.
Omega Total just said, KK.
Yeah, I wouldn't want the small, tiny one for the forced air. That would just cause it. Trying to prevent the parts from flying everywhere. But this solder paste, the parts kind of sit down in it a little bit better. Seems to hold the part a little bit better. Also seems to not be all droopy. Like the other stuff, when I put it down, it like slowly slithered away when I put the parts in it. It just didn't feel like it was as thick as this. I'm definitely going to say MG Chemicals is the better solder paste. The question is which solder is better, the leaded solder or the non-leaded solder? There's also a SOC 305, but I couldn't figure out what the hell it was. Okay. All right, those are the caps. Now we need to do evens. Evens are 90s. It's these guys here. Like really tiny chopsticks. Yum yum. What is what for? This board? This is an S-100 logic analyzer interface board. Allows me to connect the logic analyzer to an S-100 bus computer system. Aw, the felines come back. They're not bullying you, they just want some love and affection. Unless they come and like start knocking your computer off the desk, then they're bullying you. How you doing, Frenzy? How's Mom? How's she doing? Yeah, I know her and Dad have been talking. At least briefly each day. Did you go see Dad today? Based on your text, it sounded like you did. Okay. Good idea. Hydration is a good idea. Oh. Oh, hydrating. I just go over there and I just hang out with them. So what I've been doing is I'd go over at lunch, see how he's doing, see if he needs any help with his lunch. And then I just chill out and watch TV with him. That's it. So I do that for lunch for an hour. Then I hit that restaurant right outside, the fast food place, grab something on the way home or back to the office. And then when in the day, I would just go over and hang out with him for a couple of hours. Usually till 7 o'clock, because that's when visiting ends. I know we could stay there longer, but I kind of bolt. Rob stayed there till 8 the other night, and I'm like, it's like, ugh. So I'll do that again next week on Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday, and then I took a half day on Friday. So I do have to work in the office in the morning, but then I'll head over to head over there. Paperwork said 1 p.m. He ain't. How's he gonna walk out? He didn't have a car. Well, according to the paperwork, he is supposed to be able to walk by himself on discharge day. That is a goal. He is to do that. He's already so they have him doing certain tasks, and one of the tasks is transferring to a vehicle, and he's already passed that one. He's already met the requirements to be able to get in the car. I thought was weird, but yeah, he's already got that. And I told him the other day, I'm like, if you don't eat, you're not gonna get better. You might not be hungry, but you still got to eat. So he started. I went over there. He was actually eating. Like, he wasn't like lunch. He was actually eating his lunch. I'd like him to eat more, but those are done here. Okay. Now we're halfway done. Halfway done, chat. There's half of them right there. Now we do this half. Oh, today lunch. Yeah. He always eats the dessert, or he'll always eat the vegetables. He just or the fruit. But I don't know. Sometimes the lunch is like, ugh. Even I don't want to eat. All right. So these are the two. These are the 90s. 90s are the evens. These are going on this side. So that issue you spoke about today has been brought up several times already. And the one person said they were going to talk to someone about adding something to the diet. So hopefully it's not a side effect of new medication. Your chat loves us talking about medical problems. Any old people in chat want to talk about old people things, go right ahead. Ah, That's probably what it is then. Probably exactly what it is. Yeah, someone should have said something like, "Hey, we have you on a medication that helps keep that a liquid so we don't have you straining or whatever." Yeah. Sorry, chat. Best topic for a Friday night. Things you look forward to when you get old. I I I heard my phone exploding over there. I just didn't want to look at it anymore. I don't. I'm trying to concentrate, try to get these things done. Do I need to look at it? Okay. Are you planning to go over there all this weekend? I didn't check to see if anybody said they were going. I gotta mow my lawn. I got some stuff I need to do in the garage. I do that tomorrow morning. Okay. I think it's gonna be me and you this weekend. You need to come up there and help you with the pool or the lawn. I can try to help, but you know my back doesn't allow me to do anything with weed eating. Ride the mower. Or I can just go visit him. Alright, so there's my leftovers. I need to get that tower down. Oh, he did? How's he doing? He used to come up on Twitch. thought he had a job. That sucks. He was working with someone, but the technology they were using was crap or something. Phone never worked or something. And through like 2 or 3 laptops. It was weird. He had to provide his own laptop to work at this company. Well, you can't take care of her forever. He wasn't doing good years ago. He's chugging along. I tell you what, man, that guy's got this. You should go and you should get a degree in being a healthcare physician because I mean he actually stuck it out for a pretty good long time. Yeah, she definitely was going downhill. Bless her heart. Hopefully his family sees all the work that he's done for that family. All right. There we go, chat. There's the remaining of the caps. 2, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18, 20, 22, 24, 26, 28, 30, 32, 34, 36. So it's 36. I didn't lose too many of them. There should be 36 of these guys. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 12, 13, 14. There's like 44 of those. And then this is the last batch. Then we'll heat this up. Then play some video games. Over an hour. I failed you, chat. Wonder if he's ever done anything with that property he bought. Then he's gonna have to find a job. I don't know if he ever did or not. I mean, taking care of his mom is probably a full-time job in itself. Heck, he's got to be in his. He's got to be close to his 60s in as well. He's got at least almost to 100. So a friend of mine bought a big chunk of land in Alabama, out near Dadeville, Alabama. He bought like 5 acres of land, probably like 20 years ago. Paid cash for it. Big old house on it. They also have a nice piece of property sitting on the lake itself. And then his mom moved up there from here. She's got, I think, dementia. So I used to work with him at the check cashing place back in the day. I've known him for probably 40 years, 30 years. Yeah, 30 years. So he moved up there to take care of his mom. Oh, about, I don't know, I'm say probably a good 20 years ago. He had a he had a judge, GTO judge, sitting in a storage unit down here in Florida. He's paying his storage unit, no big deal, just paying a check, mailing a check every month. Then a friend of his called him and said, "Hey, isn't your car in the storage unit?" He's like, "Yeah." He's like, "Well, they're pulling it out of your storage unit." He's like, "What do you mean you're pulling it out of my storage unit?" He's like, "Yeah." I went over there and talked to him. I said that the guy that's renting the space has been paying for that storage unit. The guy's like, "I bought this facility a year ago and I haven't received a single payment." So he had called his bank. Sure enough, the guy's been cashing the check. So he's like, so the guy agreed to hold off. Like, all right, I'll hold off until we figure out what's going on. He went back down there and talked to the guy, and he's like, apparently the old property owner's been cashing the checks, not giving him the money or telling him or anything. He's like, yeah, I bought this from this guy. And he's like, yeah. And so, luckily, the new owner was able to figure out, was able to get paid, and then he just pulled the stuff out because they were tearing down they bought the property, replaced. They're building a building there, so they weren't keeping the storage facility. I mean, this was just a beat up storage unit, but it just had a car sitting. All it was in it was his car, and he just never got around to pulling his car or towing it up north. He had no reason to. And by the way, this storage unit was probably the rickiest storage unit I've ever seen. It didn't even have a paved parking lot. It was an old storage unit. I'm surprised no one broke in and stole his car a long time ago. It looked like an abandoned building. But he got his car. Of course, this was back when those cars were worth a lot of money. They're not worth as much as they were. Classic car business kind of dwindled down. All right, chat. All the parts are laid on this guy. Let's go back to the food processor. Okay. One super fetchy toaster oven. This is something you would see on Breaking Bad. All right. Royal 350. All right. At Wims, you haven't realized this is the third time I've done this now. Number of tombstones, huh? 0. 0 tombstones.
Hey Mothkin just said, heyo, I like using TTS so I get to say Tides. Anywho, how's you?
I'm good, Moppy. I'm baking stuff on this sketchy toaster oven. By the word sketchy, I mean it is missing its side cover over here, and it doesn't have a top. And that's a circuit board. Wrong button. Wrong button. Wrong button. That's a circuit board in there, and it is currently getting heated up to 350 degrees. So I'm bringing up to 350 degrees. I don't have a way to measure the temperature. So I'm going to let it heat up. There is a temperature curve you're supposed to do this at. You're supposed to measure the temperature of the board. You're supposed to ramp it up to a certain temperature. You're supposed to hold it at the temperature for X number of seconds. and then you quickly ramp it up to 450 degrees, and then as soon as it for X number of seconds, and then you cut the temp and let it drop. So this is the hammy method. It's called just toast it in the toaster oven. So I'm going to let it do for like 4 minutes at this temperature, and then I'll crank the temperature all the way up, because this solder melts at 440 degrees Fahrenheit, and this only goes to 450. You can't really tell, but when it gets to temp, the parts will start dancing. They'll start shimmering on the board. And then when they start to, once the solder starts to melt and start shimmering, that's when we quickly let it sit for a minute. We let it cook for a minute, because that tells us that the temperature's at set. We let it cook for a minute, and then we just kill the toaster and open the door and remove the part. So right now I'm just letting it kind of preheat to 350, which honestly, this is melting much better. This almost looks like the pre-soak. They're already starting to melt. Ooh, yeah. We're gonna go ahead and crank that up. Ah, they're starting to melt. All right, so I'm gonna set the timer to 1 minute. The hammy method. Mmm. Look at that smoke. Probably not something you want to inhale. But I will say that this stuff is a lot more smokier. Use the patented non-cooking utensil. I should put on here, not for food. Safety first. Let's unplug it. There's some exposed wires over here. It's fine. Hey, chat. Let's go look under the other mic. Under the other. All right. Okay. Turn this light off. Here we go. Ugh. Hello, moth. You guys see that? There was a moth in here. Now a moth is stunk in my house. Not sure where he went. Okay, camera. Thank you. Okay. Turn this light off. So we can zoom in. There we go. So as you can see, all those parts all soldered down. Wrong way. A little chip. Parts over here. All got good fillets. So that took me 2 hours, right? Or did I start this at 8? I don't remember. So yeah, so that one's done. This one's done. At least all the surface mount parts are. And I already have. So these ones here, all these ones here I did. Let's just do this camera. So all these ones I did using pretty much the method I just did. I used a different type of solder paste on each one of them. This one here. So this one, the last one I just pulled out, I kind of warped the corner with it grabbing it the way I did. I should have let it sit in there longer. That's fine. This one's kind of warped down the middle because I had it in there differently. So this was the low melt. This was the ChipQuick, and then this was the MG Chemicals. I think overall, they all worked well. I would say the low melt is probably the MG Chemicals low melt. I would definitely say is the one that you should use for this kind of work for your doing it at home. Way easier. This one here was also done with SMD. So this is what I still got to do. I still got to all these parts. This one here, I did with the stencil, but I used hot air to melt the solder. Worked okay. I had some issues with parts being blown off over here, so I had to manually do all those. And then this board here is the one I did by hand. So you can tell the difference from hand soldering. So I hand soldered every single one of these components by hand. as you can tell, there's a lot more solder. So this one was done by hand. Sorry, you can't get a really good photo of it. I did this whole entire board by hand. And you can see, if you look at this angle, see where the solder is very prominent on the chips. So this board was done by hand. Every single one of those parts soldered by hand. This one here was done with a stencil, but hot air. This one was done by stencil using the same solder. This one here was the first one done tonight. This is using the lead solder. ChipQuick. And this one here is with the MG Chemicals. I like the MG Chemicals. Between these two, I would take the MG Chemicals because I think it took less time for it to actually soak and heat and melt. But overall, I kind of like the low melt solder paste the best out of all of them. I think that worked the best. This stuff here, low temperature. So this does not have any lead in it. This is silver bibutyl something or other. It melts at like 350 degrees, 400 degrees, somewhere around there. It's great for your respiratory system. See, all right. Inhale all you want. Oh, and it's not good for the plants. So don't put it in the plants. It won't make the plants grow better. This one says exclamation point means bad. Cancer. So I'm gonna go put these back in the cooler so they don't go bad. I'm done with them now that I've done my stuff, and then I'm gonna come back and play some video games. Meat Mitts! Hello, Meat Mitts. Welcome in. Let me put this in focus a little bit better, and I will be right back. Get a drink too. Are you not liking my IQ I given you? Is that what you're saying?